find a comfortable place and squat as a test. And when I say test, or when we say test, what we mean is we're going to see where we can go to a position of comfort, see what the depth is, see what the length is, see what the feeling is, see what the body positioning is. And just notice, and let this be a position in a squat that we could hold for 30 seconds or more easily. And just notice. See where that is and what it feels like. And then stand up and relax. Because at the end of this play in squatitation, we're going to retest, so to speak, or we're going to squat again, just like we did there in the beginning. And we're going to see if it feels different, see if we notice anything different than what we just did. Okay, now let's play. Let's squatitate. In other words, let's get into a position, or many different positions, or flowing in and out of positions, where the ankles are flexed, the knees are flexed, and the hips are flexed. In other words, let's squatitate. So to start, let's have both feet flat on the ground, and then place both hands flat on the ground. Now in this position, just notice what we might notice. Sense what might be sensed in the body, or in the feeling of the touch of the earth with the feet, or the hands, the palms. What do we notice? Maybe in some sensations of the ankles. How's the foot positioned so that this can happen? What does it feel like? Okay, stand up and relax. So that'll be our basic position in this play today. And what we're going to do now is get in that same position, and now we're going to, and feel free to move the hands, to place the hands in any place on the ground in front of you, or in front of us, so that we can feel more comfortable with this movement. We're going to get into that position again and lift one of the feet off the ground. Now choose a foot, right or left. I'm gonna go right, but choose one and stay with that one. And we'll go to the other in a little bit maybe. So feet flat on the ground, hands flat on the ground, and lift the right foot off the ground. And then put it back in the same spot if we can. Now each time we do this, see if we can make it gentler, slower, easier. Do this many times. And each time maybe discover an easier way somehow to pick the right foot up off the ground and place it down in exactly the same place. And as we do this, what are we noticing? In our spine, in our low back, in the hips, in the ankle joints, in the positioning of the feet and the ankles, in the feeling of pressure on the ground from foot to foot, to hand to hand. And stand up and relax. Now at any point in this squatitating, if we're feeling cranky or tired or feeling stiff or feeling like we're just straining at all, stop, relax, stand up and relax. This is about the littlest amount of effort as possible, really, to make this so easy. And there's some focus required for this, and that's maybe hard. But the energy of attention that can bring these little actions into such an ease. And if something is hard, can we make it easy? If something is easy for us, can we make it maybe even elegant? So let's do it again. Same side. We're going to lift the right foot off the ground. This time when we lift the right foot off the ground, let's put it down in a different place. So imagine we have paint on the bottom of our right foot, and we're just going to mark many different places on the ground beneath our foot, and around us and in front of us and behind us, and without ever touching the same paint spot twice. Let's do this many times, slowly, comfortably, and just noticing whatever we might notice. Let the hands move to different positions as we paint different spots on the ground with our right foot. We can put our hands in different positions so that it's each time we're making this as easy an act as possible. And relax. Now let's do it again, and this time we're going to do this one more time with the right foot, noticing maybe what we notice in the low back, in the hips, or proprioceptively, or kinesthetically. What do we notice in the positioning of our body? What do we notice in our skeleton? What can we hone into or play with as far as sensation? And this time when we're doing it, let's pick up our right foot and put it right down in the same spot with a different orientation. So we're going to pick it up off the ground and then put it back down in the same spot but pointed outward, away from us. And then we're going to pick it up and put it down oriented inwards or towards us. And we're just going to go back and forth between outwards and inwards when we pick the foot up and put it down. So picking the right foot up and orienting it outwards. And this can be very subtle, very small shift in the angle of our foot after we've picked it up and put it back down. What do we notice in our hip, in our ankle, on the right side or the left side? What do we notice in our breathing? Stand up and relax. I like saying this during any of these squatitation experiments, experience, that whatever we notice as far as something that's happening right now, or a sensation, or some position of our body and how it feels, or how we can make it from one movement to the next more pleasurable, more filled with curiosity. Whatever we notice is a gift to our nervous system, and the nervous system will just do whatever it wants with it. All of this is just happening. And if we can use our spotlight of attention, our conscious attention, which can be a powerful tool maybe for inletting this kind of information, that our nervous system might make a whole lot of sense of that in ways that we really won't be able to understand maybe. So let's do this now on the left with the left foot. So both feet flat on the ground. We're going to put both hands on the ground and we're going to lift our left foot up and put it right back down in the exact same, try to put it down in the exact same spot. So both feet on the ground, hands on the ground, left foot comes up and comes back down. And remember, we can move the positioning of our hands to try to make this easier. If it feels hard or weird or cranky, can we make it feel not like that? Can we make it feel easy? If we make it feel easy, can we then make it feel extremely pleasurable? Stand up and relax. Maybe walk around a little bit during these relaxation snippets. Now when we get back into it, we're going to put our feet on the ground, our hands flat on the ground, and remember the hands can change where they are to continue to make this, each time we do it, seem easier. We're trying to reduce effort each time. Make it almost like we're doing nothing or no movement. So we don't have to go far with anything. We don't have to. We're really trying to use as little amount of force as possible, so that we can actually detect more as far as any kind of sensory information. So this time, let's paint the ground all over with our left foot, and not going with the parameter here that we're not trying to paint the same spot twice. So let's do this many times, slowly, comfortably, interestingly. Foot comes off the ground, left foot, and back in a different spot. And then from there, same thing to a different spot. How many different spots? Remember, our right foot just stays exactly where it is. Our hands can be moving to different spots, but how many different spots can we paint if the bottom of our left foot is a paintbrush? Stand up and relax. Now, last thing, let's throw a new wrinkle into it. Let's alternate between the left and the right foot. So, for example, we're going to have our feet flat on the ground, both of them, our hands flat on the ground to start. Now let's pick up our left foot as if it's a paintbrush, and let's put it somewhere else and put that paint spot in a different place. And while we're doing this, we can move our hands walk our hands out, our palms out, right and left hand into different spots. And after we've done the left foot, we're going to alternate and do the right foot. And while we are picking up the right foot and putting it as a paint brush into a different place, our left foot stays in place. And now that our right foot has put the paint into a new spot, now it's going to stay in place. We're going to go to the left foot. We're just going to alternate. Left foot up and into a new spot. Right foot up and into a new spot. And can we explore this comfortably, painting as many different spots, slowly, easily. Maybe even in a way that feels really satisfying to the body to move like this. What kind of pressure do we notice that we're putting on the hands? Where are we moving them to make this easier? What are some sensations we notice in the low back, just above the ass muscles? What are some sensations we notice in the neck? What are some sensations we notice in the ankles? What about the shoulders? Okay, relax. Stand up, totally relax. If you like this, if you think of this, and you want to do this again someday, think about how you're feeling right now. Are you exerting effort where this actually feels like you're you're working, where your hips, your groin area, or there's a burn in your leg muscles. If that's noticed or felt, think about if you try this again someday, or later today, or in 3 days, or in 3 weeks. Can you do this without experiencing that? Noticing just before you feel like you're starting to feel like there's a burn coming on, because that's not the point of this at all. In fact, that burn would be interfering maybe with the pleasing information that could be given to the nervous system. So that might be something to consider. I said that was kind of the last little bit of the squatitation, but let's try one more little wrinkle. With our feet flat on the ground, and then we'll place our hands flat on the ground, then can we walk our feet, right foot, left foot, right foot, left foot, and we're going to spread, walk them outward, right foot out to the right, left foot out to the left, as far as we can, comfortably. How kind of wide can we get with our hands flat on the ground in front of us? In a somewhat pleasing way. And then can we walk them back to as close together as they will go? And as we're doing this, is kind of the last little wrinkle, kind of a fun little added wrinkle. As we're doing this, what do we notice as far as sensations? In our neck, in our back, in our ankles, in our knees, in our hips, somewhere, anywhere. And can we play back and forth and around to different sensation opportunities? Okay, feet flat on the ground, hands flat on the ground, and walk slowly the feet in a widening kind of format. We're still keeping our feet as we widen them apart from each other, flat on the earth. It could be very easy to strain in this, so we're not trying to go so far that it actually feels like we're working. And then can we bring them close together, as narrow as possible? And what has to happen in our low back, about the pressure on our hands? Where are our hands as we do this? What do we notice? And when we've gotten our feet as narrow as possible, our hands still flat on the ground, then relax and slowly, easily come out of it, stand up. And if nothing else, what we've done is we've slowed things down in our life for 15 minutes maybe, 16 minutes, whatever this is. We've slowed things down in our life. And we've practiced some presence in some aspect of this crazy happening. Now, as our final thing, remember, we're going to test the squat like we did in the beginning, and just maybe see how it is relative to the one when we started, and see how we feel now, and notice position, maybe relative to that first one at the beginning, maybe depth, maybe length, and then after that be done. So let's squat as a test. Just feel where we are. Is it different than that very first one? Do we think that maybe we could hold it longer? How do we feel? Stand up, relax, and be done.